Leonato, governor of Messina, plans to welcome the prince, Don Pedro, and his soldiers to his estate.
I learn in this letter that Don Pedro of Aragon comes this night to Messina.
He is very near by this. He was not 3 leagues off when I last saw him.
How many gentlemen have you lost in this action?
But few of any sort and none of name.
A victory twice in itself when the achiever brings home full numbers. I find here that Don Pedro hath bestowed much honor on a young Florentine called Claudio.
Much deserved on his part, and equally remembered by Don Pedro. He hath done himself beyond the promise of his age, doing in the figure of a lamb the feats of a lion. He hath indeed bettered expectation than you must expect of me to tell you how.
He hath an uncle here in Messina that will be very much glad of it.
I have delivered him letters, and already there appears much joy in him, even so much that joy could not show itself modest without a badge of bitterness.
Did he break out into tears?
In great measure.
A kind outflow of kindness. There are no faces truer than those that are washed. How much better it is to weep at joy than to joy at weeping.
I pray you, is Signor Montanto returned from the wars or no?
I know none of that name, lady. There was none such in the army of any sort.
What is he you ask for, niece?
My cousin means Signor Benedict of Padua.
Oh, he's returned and as pleasant as ever he was.
Set up his bills here in Messina and challenged Cupid at the flight, and my uncle's fool, reading the challenge, subscribed for Cupid and challenged him at the bird bolt. I pray you, how many hath he killed and eaten in these wars? But how many hath he killed? For indeed I promised to eat all of his killing.
Faith, niece, you tax Signor Benedict too much. He'll meet with you, I doubt it not.
He hath done good service, lady, in these wars.
You had musty victual, and he hath hope to eat it. He is a very valiant trencherman. He hath an excellent stomach.
And a good soldier too, lady.
And a good soldier to a lady, but what is he to a lord?
A lord to a lord, a man to a man, stuffed with all honorable virtues.
It is so indeed. He is no less than a stuffed man, but for the stuffing, well, we are all mortal.
You must not, sir, mistake my niece. There's a kind of merry war betwixt Signor Benedict and her. They never meet, but there's a skirmish of wit between them.
Alas, he gets nothing by that. In our last conflict, 4 of his 5 wits went halting off, and now is the whole man governed with one, so that if he have wit enough to keep himself warm, let him bear it for a difference between himself and his horse, for it is all the wealth that he hath left to be known a reasonable creature. Who is his companion now? Is there no young squire that will make a voyage with him to the devil?
He is most in the company of the right noble Claudio.
Oh, Lord, he will hang upon him like a disease. He is sooner caught than the pestilence, and the taker runs presently mad. God help the noble Claudio. If he have caught the Benedict, it will cost him £1,000 ere he be cured.
I will hold friends with you, lady.
Do, good friend.
He'll never run mad, niece.
No, not till a hot January.
Don Pedro is approached.
Good Signor Leonato, are you come to meet your trouble? The fashion of the world is to avoid cost, and you encounter it.
Never came trouble in my house in the likeness of your grace. For trouble being gone, comfort should remain, and when you depart from me, happiness takes his leave and sorrow abides.
You embrace your charge too willingly. I think this is your daughter.
Her mother hath many times told me so.
Were you in doubt, sir, that you asked her?
Signor Benedict, no, for then you were a child.
You have it full, Benedict. We may guess by this what you are, being a man. Truly the lady fathers herself. Be happy, lady, for you are like an honorable father.
If Signor Leonato be her father, she would not have his head on her shoulders for all Messina, as like him as she is.
I wonder that you will still be talking, Signor Benedict. Nobody marks you.
What, my dear Lady Disdain, are you yet living?
Is it possible disdain should die while she hath such meat food to feed it as Signor Benedick? Courtesy itself must convert to disdain if you come in her presence.
Then is courtesy a turncoat, but it is certain I am loved of all ladies, only you excepted. And I could find in my heart that I had not a hard heart, for truly I love none.
A dear happiness to women. They would also have been troubled with a pernicious suitor. I thank God in my cold blood I'm of your humor for that. I'd rather hear my dog bark at a crow than a man swear he loves me.
God, keep your ladyship still in that mind, so some gentleman or other shall scape a predestinate scratched face.
Scratching could not make it worse, and 'twere such a face as yours were.
Oh, well, you are a rare parrot teacher.
A bird of my tongue is better than a beast of yours.
I would my horse had the speed of your tongue, and so good a continuer, but keep your way, in God's faith, I have done.
You always end with a jade's trick. I know you of old.
That is the sum of all, Leonato. Signor Claudio and Signor Benedick, my dear friend Leonato hath invited you all. I tell him we shall stay here at the least a month. He heartily prays some occasion may detain us longer. I dare swear he is no hypocrite, but prays from his heart.
If you swear, my lord, you shall not be forsworn. My lord Don John, let me bid you welcome. Being reconciled into the prince your brother, I owe you all duty.
I thank you. I'm not of many words, but I thank you.
Please it your grace lead on.
Your hand, Leonato, we will go together.
Benedick, didst thou note the daughter of Signor Leonato?
I noted her not, but I looked on her.
Is she not a modest young lady?
Do you question me as an honest man should do for my simple true judgment, or would you have me speak after my custom as being a professed tyrant to their sex?
No, I pray thee, speak in sober judgment.
Why, i'faith, methinks she's too low for a high praise, too brown for a fair praise, and too little for a great praise. Only this commendation I can afford her, that were she other than she is, she were unhandsome, and being no other as but she is, I do not like her.
Thou thinkest I'm in sport. I pray thee tell me truly how thou likest her.
Would you buy her that you inquire after her?
Can the world buy such a jewel?
Yea, and a case to put it into. But speak you this with a sad brow? Or do you play the flouting jack to tell us Cupid is a good hair finder and Vulcan a rare carpenter? Come, in what key shall a man take you to go on the song?
In mine eyes, she is the sweetest lady that ever I looked on.
I can see yet without spectacles, and I see no such matter. There's her cousin, and she were not possessed with a fury exceeds her as much in beauty as the 1st of May doth the last of December. But I hope you have no intent to turn husband, have you?
I would scarce trust myself, though I had sworn the contrary, if Hero would be my wife.
Is it come to this? In faith, hath not the world one man, but he who wear his cap with suspicion? Shall I never see a bachelor of 80 again? Oh, go to! If faith, and thou wilt needs thrust thy neck into a yoke, wear the print of it, and sigh away Sundays. Look, Don Pedro is returned to seek you.
What secret hath held you here that you follow not to Leonato's?
Would your grace would constrain me to tell?
I charge thee on thy allegiance.
You hear, Count Claudio, I can be as secret as a dumb man. I would have you think so, but on my allegiance, mark you this, on my allegiance, he is in love. With who? Now, that is your grace's part. Mark how short his answer is. With Hero, Leonato's short daughter.
If this were so, so were it uttered.
Like the old tale, my lord, it is not so, nor 'twas not so, but indeed, God forbid it should be so.
If my passion change not shortly, God forbid it should be otherwise.
Amen. If you love her, for the lady is very well worthy.
You speak this to fetch me in, my lord.
By my troth, I speak my thought.
And in faith, my lord, I spoke mine.
And by my 2 faiths and troths, my lord, I spoke mine.
That I love her, I feel.
That she is worthy, I know.
That I neither feel how she should be loved, nor know how she should be worthy, is the opinion that fire cannot melt out of me. I will die in it at the stake.
Thou wast ever an obstinate heretic in the despite of beauty.
And never could maintain his force but in the part of his will.
That a woman conceived me, I thank her. That she brought me up, I likewise give her most humble thanks, but that I will have a retreat winded in my forehead or hang my bugle in an invisible baldric, all women shall pardon me, because I will not do them to wrong to mistrust any. I will do myself the right to trust none. And the fine is, for which I may go the finer, I will live a bachelor.
I shall see thee. Ere I die, look pale with love.
With anger, with sickness, or with hunger, my lord, not with love. Prove that ever I lose more blood with love than I will get again with drinking. Pluck out mine eyes with a ballad maker's pen and hang me up at the door of a brothel house for the sign of blind Cupid.
Well, if ever thou dost fall from this fate, thou wilt prove a notable argument.
If I do, hang me in a bottle like a cat and shoot at me. And he that hits me, let him be clapped on the shoulder and called Adam.
Well, as time shall try, in time the savage bull doth bear the yoke.
Oh, the savage bull may, but if ever the sensible Benedict bear it, pluck off the bull's horns and set them in my forehead, and let me be vilely painted, and in such great letters as they write, "Here is good horse to hire," let them signify under my sign, "Here you may see Benedict, the married man."
If this should ever happen, thou wouldst be horn mad.
Nay, if Cupid have not spent all of his quiver in Venice, thou wilt quake for this shortly.
I look for an earthquake too, then.
Well, you will temporize with the hours. In the meantime, good Signor Benedict, repair to Leonato's, commend me to him, and tell him I will not fail him at supper, for indeed he hath made a great preparation.
I have almost matter enough in me for such an embassage, and so I commit you to God.
For the permission of God, from my house, if I had it.
6th of July, your loving friend, Benedict.
Nay, mock not, mock not. The body of your discourse is sometimes guarded with fragments, and the guards are but slightly basted on neither. Ere you flout old ends any further, examine your conscience. And so I leave you.
My liege, your highness now may do me good.
My love is thine to teach. Teach it but how, and thou shalt see how apt it is to learn. Any hard lesson may do thee good.
Hath Leonato any son, my lord?
No child but Hero. She's his only heir. Dost thou affect her, Claudio?
Oh, my lord, when you went onward on this ended action, I looked upon her with a soldier's eye, that liked but had a rougher task in hand than to drive liking to the name of love. But now I am returned, and that war thoughts have left their places vacant. In their rooms come thronging soft and delicate desires, all prompting me how fair young Hero is, saying I liked her ere I went to wars.
Thou wilt be like a lover presently, and tar the air with the book of words. If thou dost love fair Hero, cherish it. And I will break with her and with her father, and thou shalt have her. Was not to this end that thou beganst to twist so fine a story?
How sweetly you do minister to love, that no love's grief by his complexion. But lest my liking too sudden seem, I would have solved it with a longer treatise.
What need the bridge much broader than the flood? The fair's grant is the necessity. Look what shall serve as fit. 'Tis once thou lovest, and I will fit thee with the remedy. I know we shall have some reveling tonight. I will assume thy part in some disguise, and tell fair Hero I am Claudio. And in her bosom I'll unclasp my heart and take her hearing prisoner, with the force and strong encounter of my amorous tale. Then after, to her father will I break, and the conclusion is, she shall be thine. In practice, let us put it presently.
The prince's half-brother, Don John the Bastard, conspires with his lackeys.
What the good year? My lord, why are you thus out of measure sad?
There is no measure in the occasion that breeds, therefore the sadness is without limit.
You should hear reason.
And when have I heard it? What blessings brings it?
If not a pleasant remedy, at least a patient sufferance.
I wonder that thou, being as thou sayest thou art, born under Saturn, goes about to apply a moral medicine to a mortifying mischief. I cannot hide what I am, must be sad when I have cause. And smile at no man's jest. Eat when I have stomach and wait for no man's leisure. Sleep when I am drowsy and tend on no man in his business. Laugh when I am merry and claw no man in his humor.
Yea, but you must not make the full show of this till you may do it without controlment. You have late stood out against your brother, and he hath newly taken you into his ring, where it is impossible you should take true root, but by the fair weather you make of yourself. It is needful you frame the season for your harvest.
I'd rather be a canker's in his hedge than a rose in his grace, and it better fit my blood than be disdain of all than to fashion or carriage to rob love from any. In this, though, I cannot be said to be an honest, flattering man. It cannot be denied, but I'm a plain dealing villain. I am trusted with a muzzle and enfranchised with a clog. Therefore I decreed not to sing in my cage. If I had my mouth, I would bite. If I had my liberty, I would do my likings. In the meantime, let me be that I am, and seek not to alter me.
Can you make no use of your discontent?
I make all use of it, for I use it only. Who comes here? When is Braccio?
Came yonder from a great supper. The prince, your brother, is royally entertained by Leonato, and I can give you intelligence of an intended marriage.
Who is sir for any model to build mischief on? What is he for a fool that betrotheth himself to unquietness?
Marry, it is your brother's right hand.
Who? The most exquisite Claudio?
Even he.
A proper squire. And who? Which way looks he?
Marry on Hero, the daughter and heir of Leonato.
A very forward marsh chick. How came you to this?
Being entertained for a perfumer as I was smoking a musty room, in comes me the prince and Claudio, hand in hand in sad conference. I whipped me behind the arras, and there heard it agreed upon that the prince should woo Hero for himself, and having obtained her, give her to Count Claudio.
Come, let us thither. This may prove food to my displeasure. That young startup hath all the glory of my overthrow. If I can cross him anyway, I bless myself every way. You're both sure and will assist me?
To the death, my lord.
To the great supper. Their cheer is greater than I am subdued. With the cook whereof my mind, shall we go prove what's to be done?
We'll wait upon your lordship.
Leonato's household and his guests prepare for an evening of revelry and a masquerade dance.
Was not Count John at supper?
I saw him not.
How tartly that gentleman looks. I never can see him, but I am heartburned an hour after.
He is of a very melancholy disposition.
We were an excellent man that were made just in the midway between him and Benedick. The one is too like an image and says nothing, and the other too like my lady's eldest son, evermore tattling.
And half Signor Benedick's tongue in Count John's mouth, and half Count John's melancholy in Signor Benedick's face.
With a good leg and a good foot, uncle, and money enough in his purse, such a man would win any woman in the world if he could get her goodwill.
By my troth, niece, thou wilt never get thee a husband if thou so shrewd of thy tongue.
Ah, in faith, she's too cursed.
Too cursed is more than cursed. I shall lessen God's sending that way, for it is said, God sends a cursed cow short horns, but to a cow too cursed he sends none.
So by being too cursed, God will send you no horns?
Just if he send me no husband, for the which blessing I am at him upon my knees every morning and evening. Lord, I could not endure a husband with a beard on his face. I had rather lie in the woolen.
You may light on a husband that hath no beard.
What should I do with him? Dress him in my apparel and make him my waiting gentlewoman? He that hath a beard is more than a youth, and he that hath no beard is less than a man. And he that is more than a youth is not for me, and he that is less than a man, I am not for him. Therefore, I will even take 6 pence in earnest of the bear herd and lead his apes into hell.
Well, then go you into hell?
No, but to the gate, and there will the devil meet me like an old cuckold with horns on his head and say, "Get you to heaven, Beatrice, get you to heaven, here's no place for you maids." So deliver I up my apes and away to St. Peter. For the heavens, he shows me where the bachelors sit, and there live we as merry as the day is long.
Well, niece, I trust you will be ruled by your father?
Yes, faith, it is my cousin's duty to make curtsy and say, "Father, as it please you." But yet for all that, cousin, let him be a handsome fellow, or else make another curtsy and say, "Father, as it please me."
Well, Beatrice, I hope to see you one day fitted with the husband.
Not till God make men of some other metal than earth. Would it not grieve a woman to be overmastered by a piece of valiant dust, to make an account of her life to a clod of wayward marl? No, uncle, I'll none. Adam's sons are my brethren, and truly I hold it a sin to match in my kindred.
Daughter, remember what I told you. If the prince do solicit you in any kind, you know your answer.
The thought will be in the music, cousin, if you be not wooed in good time. If the prince be too important, tell him there is measure in everything, and so dance out the answer. For hear me, hero. Wooing, wedding, and repenting is as a Scotch jig, a measure, and a sync pace. The first suit is hot and hasty like a Scotch jig, and full as fantastical. The wedding, mannerly modest as a measure, full of state and ancientry. And then comes repentance, and with his bad legs falls into the sync pace faster and faster until he sink into his grave.
Cousin, you apprehend passing shrewdly.
I have a good eye, uncle. I can see a church by daylight.
The revelers are entering. Brother, make good room.
Lady, will you walk about with your friend?
So you walk softly and look sweetly and say nothing. I am yours for the walk, and especially when I walk away.
With me in your company?
I may say so when I please.
Then when please you to say so.
When I like your favor, for God defend the lute should be like the case.
My visor is Philemon's roof, within the house is Jove.
Why then your visor should be thatched.
Speak low if you speak love.
Well, I would you did like me.
So would not for your own sake. I have many ill qualities.
Oh, which is one?
I say my prayers aloud.
I love you the better. The hearers may cry, amen.
God match me with a good dancer.
I know you well enough. You are Signor Antonio.
At a word, I am not.
I know you by the waggling of your head.
To tell you true, I counterfeit him.
You can never do him so ill well unless you are the very man. Here's his dry hand up and down. You are he. You are he.
At a word, I am not.
Come, come, do you think I do not know you by your excellent wit? Can virtue hide itself? Go to, Mom, you are he. Graces will appear, and there's an end.
Do not tell me who told you so.
No, you shall pardon me.
Nor will you not tell me who you are.
Well, not now.
That I was disdainful and that I had my good wit out of the 100 merry tales. Well, this was Signor Benedict that said so.
What's he?
I am sure you know him well enough.
Oh, not I, believe me.
Did he never make you laugh?
I pray you, what is he?
Why, he is the prince's jester, a very dull fool. Only his gift is in devising impossible slanders. None but libertines delight in him, and his gift is not in his wit, but in his villainy, for he both pleases men and angers them, and then they laugh at him and beat him. I am sure he is in the fleet. I would he had boarded me.
When I know the gentleman, I'll tell him what you say.
Do. He'll but break a comparison or two on me, which, peradventure, not marked or not laughed at, strikes him into melancholy. And then there's a partridge wing saved, for the fool will eat no supper that night. We must follow the leaders.
In every good thing.
Nay, if they lead to any ill, I will leave them at the next turning.
Sure. My brother's armorous on Hero, and hath withdrawn her father to break with him about it. The ladies follow her, but one visor remains.
And that is Claudio. I know him by his bearing.
Are you not Signor Benedict?
You know me well. I am he.
Signor, you are very near my brother's love. He is enamored on Hero. I pray you, dissuade him from her. She is no equal for his birth.
How know you he loves her?
I heard him swear his affection.
So did I too, and he swore he would marry her tonight.
Come, let us to the banquet.
Thus answer I in the name of Benedict. But hear these ill news with the ears of Claudio. 'Tis certain so the prince woos for himself. Friendship is constant in all other things save the office and affairs of love. Therefore all hearts in love use their own tongues. Let every eye negotiate for itself, and trust no agent. For beauty is a witch, against whose charms faith melteth into blood. This is an accident of hourly proof, which I mistrusted not. Farewell, therefore, hero.
Count Claudio?
Yea, the same.
Come, will you go with me?
Whither?
Even to the next willow, about your own business, County. What fashion will you wear the garland of? About your neck like an usurer's chain, or under your arm like a lieutenant's scarf? You must wear it one way, for the prince hath got your hero.
I wish him joy of her.
Why, that's spoken like an honest drover. So they sell bullocks, but did you think the prince would have served you thus?
I pray you leave me.
Oh, now you strike like the blind man. 'Twas the boy that stole your meat, and you'll beat the post.
If it will not be, I'll leave you.
Alas, poor herd fowl, now will he creep in the sedges. Oh, but that my lady Beatrice should know me and not know me. Oh, the prince is fool. Maybe I go under that title because I am merry. Yea, but so am I apt to do myself wrong. I am not so reputed. It is the base, though bitter disposition of Beatrice that puts the world into her person and so gives me out. Well, I'll be revenged as I may.
Now, Signor, where's the Count? Did you see him?
So off, my lord. I have played the part of Lady Fame. I found him here as melancholy as a lodge in a war, and I told him, and I think I told him true, that your grace had got the goodwill of this young lady, and I offered him my company to a willow tree, either to make him a garland as being forsaken, or to bind him of a rod as being worthy to be whipped.
To be whipped? What's his fault?
The flat transgression of a schoolboy who, being overjoyed with finding a bird's nest, shows it to his companion, and he steals it.
Wilt thou make a trust a transgression? The transgression was within the stealer.
Yet, it had not been amiss the rod had been made, and the garland too, for the garland he might have worn himself, and the rod he might have bestowed on you, who, as I take it, have stolen his bird's nest.
I will but teach them to sing and restore them to the owner.
And if their singing answer your saying, by my faith, you say honestly.
The Lady Beatrice hath a quarrel to you. The gentleman that danced with her told her she is much wronged by you.
Oh, she misused me past the endurance of a block. An oak, but with one green leaf on it, would have answered her. My very visor began to assume life and scold with her. She told me, not thinking I had been myself, that I was the prince's jester, that I was duller than a great thaw, huddling jest upon jest with me with such impossible conveyance, that I stood like a man at a mark, with a whole army shooting at me. She speaks poniards, and every word stabs. If her breath were as terrible as her terminations, there were no living near her. She would infect to the North Star. I would not marry her, though were she endowed with all that Adam had left him before he transgressed. She would have made Hercules have turned spit, yea, and have cleft his club to make the fire too. Come, talk not of her. You shall find her the infernal Ate in good apparel. I would to God some scholar would conjure her, for Certainly while she is here, a man may live as quiet in hell as in a sanctuary, and people sin upon purpose because they would go thither. So indeed, all disquiet, horror, and perturbation follows her.
Look, here she comes.
What? Will your grace commend me any service to the world's end? I will go on the slightest errand down to the Antipodes that you can devise to send me on. I will fetch you a toothpicker, now from the farthest inch of Asia, bring you the length of Prester John's foot, fetch you a hair off of the great Kama's beard. Do you have any embassage to the pygmies, rather than hold 3 words conference with this harpy? You have no employment for me.
None but to desire your good company.
Oh, God, sir, here's a dish I love not. I cannot endure my lady tongue.
Come, lady, come. You have lost the heart of Signor Benedict.
Indeed, my lord. He lent it to me a while, and I gave him use for it, a double heart for his single one. Marry once before he wanted of me with false dice, therefore your grace may well say I have lost it.
You have put him down, lady. You have put him down.
So I would not he should do me, my lord, lest I should prove the mother of fools. I have brought Count Claudio, whom you sent me to seek.
Why, how now, Count? Wherefore are you sad?
Not sad, my lord.
How then, sick?
Neither, my lord.
The Count is neither sad, nor sick, nor merry, nor well, but civil Count, civil as an orange, and something of that jealous complexion.
Faith, lady, I think your blazon to be true, though I'll be sworn, if he be so, his conceit is false. Here, Claudio, I wooed in thy name, and fair hero is won. I have broke with her father, and his goodwill is obtained. Name the day of marriage, and God give thee joy.
Count, take of me my daughter, and with her my fortunes. His grace hath made the match, and all in grace to it say amen.
Speak, Count, 'tis your cue.
Silence is the perfectest herald of joy. I were but little happy if I could say how much. Lady, as you are mine, I am yours. I give away myself for you and dote upon the exchange.
Speak, cousin, or if you cannot, stop his mouth with a kiss, and let not him speak neither.
In faith, lady, you have a merry heart.
Yea, my lord, I thank it, poor fool, it keeps on the windy side of care. My cousin tells him in his ear that he is in her heart.
And so she doth, cousin.
Good lord for alliance! There goes everyone to the world but I, and I am sunburnt. I may sit in a corner and cry, hi-ho for a husband.
Lady Beatrice, I will get you one.
I would rather have one of your father's getting. Hath your grace ne'er a brother like you? Your father got excellent husbands, if a maid could come by them.
Will you have me, lady?
No, my lord, unless I might have another for working days. Your grace is too costly to wear every day. But I beseech your grace pardon me. I was born to speak all mirth and no matter.
Your silence most offends me. And to be merry best becomes you. For auto question, you were born in a merry hour.
No, sure, my lord, my mother cried, but then was the star dance, and under that was I born. Cousins, God give you joy.
Niece, will you look on those things I told you of?
I cry you mercy, uncle, by your grace's pardon.
By my troth, a pleasant and spirited lady.
There is little of the melancholy element in her, my lord. She is never sad but when she sleeps, and not ever sad then. For I have heard my daughter say she hath often dreamt of unhappiness, and waked herself with laughing.
I do not endure to hear tell of a husband.
Oh, by no means. She mocks all her wooers out of suit.
She were an excellent wife for Benedict.
Oh, Lord. My lord, if they were married but a week, they would talk themselves mad.
County Claudio, when mean you to go to church?
Tomorrow, my lord. Time goes on crutches till love have all his rights.
Not till Monday, my dear son, which hence just a 7/9, and time too brief to have all things answered in my mind.
Come, we shake the head at so long a breathing, but I warrant thee, Claudio, the time shall not go dully by us. I will in the interim undertake one of Hercules' labors, which is to bring Signor Benedict and Lady Beatrice into a mountain of affection, the one with the other. I would fain have it a match, and I doubt not but to fashion it. If you three will such minister such assistance, I shall give you direction.
My lord, I am for you, though it will cost me 10 nights' watching.
And I, my lord.
And you too, gentle hero?
I will do any modest office, my lord, to help my cousin to a good husband.
And Benedict is not the unhopefullest husband I know. Thus far can I praise him. He is of noble strain, approved valor, and confirmed honesty. I will teach you how to humor your cousin, so she shall fall in love with Benedict. And I with your two helps, will so practice on Benedict that, in despite of his quick wit and queasy stomach, he shall fall in love with Beatrice. If we can do this, Cupid is no longer an archer, for his glory shall be ours. For we're the only love gods. Go in with me, and I will tell you my drift.
His plans thwarted, Don John seeks new schemes.
It is so. The Count Claudio shall marry the daughter of Leonardo.
Yea, my lord. But I can cross it.
Any bar, any cross, any impediment will be menacable to me. I'm sick and displeasure to him, and whatsoever comes Arthworth, his affection ranges evenly with mine. How canst thou cross this marriage?
Not honestly, my lord, but so covertly that no dishonesty shall appear in me.
Show me briefly how.
I think I told your lordship a year since how much I am in favor of Margaret, the lady hero's gentlewoman.
I remember.
I can, at any unreasonable instant of the night, appoint her to look out her lady's chamber window.
What life is it in that to be the death of this marriage?
The poison in that lies in you to temper. Go you to the prince, your brother. Spare not to tell him that he hath wronged his honor in marrying the renowned Claudio, whose estimation do you mightily hold up to a contaminated stale, such a one as Hero.
What proof shall I make of that?
Proof enough to misuse the prince, to vex Claudio, to undo Hero, and kill Leonato. Look you for any other issue?
Only to despite them, I will endeavor anything.
Go then. Find me a meet hour to draw Don Pedro and the Count Claudio alone. Tell them that you know that Hero loves me. Intend a kind of zeal, as in the love of your brother's honor, who hath made this match and his friend's reputation, who is thus like to be cozened with the semblance of a maid, which you have discovered thus. They will scarcely believe this without trial. Offer them instances which shall bear no less likelihood than to see me at her chamber window. Hear me call Margaret Hero. Hear Margaret term me Claudio. And bring them to see this the very night before the intended wedding, for I shall, in the meantime, so fashion the matter that Hero shall be absent, and there shall appear such seeming truth of her disloyalty, that jealousy shall be called assurance, and all the preparations overthrown.
Grow this to what adverse issue it can. I'll put it in practice. Be cunning in the workings this, and thy fees 1,000 ducats.
Be you constant in this accusation, and my cunning shall not shame me.
I will presently go learn their day of marriage.
The prince, Leonato, and Claudio attempt to trick Benedict into thinking Beatrice is secretly in love with him.
Boy!
Signor?
In my chamber window lies a book. Bring it hither to me in the orchard.
But I am already here, sir.
I know that, but I would have thee henceforth here again. I do much wonder that one man, seeing how much another man is a fool when he dedicates his behaviors to love, will, after he hath laughed at such shallow follies in others, become the argument of his own scorn by falling in love. And such a man is Claudio. I have known when there was no music within him but the drum and the fife, and now had he rather hear the tabor and the pipe. I have known when he would have walked 10 mile afoot to see a good armor, and now will he lie 10 nights awake, carving the fashion of a new doublet. He was wont to speak plain and to the purpose, like an honest man and a soldier, and now is he turned orthography. His words are a very fantastical banquet, just so many strange dishes. May I be so converted and see with these eyes? I cannot tell. I think not. I will not be sworn, but love may transform me to an oyster, but I'll take my oath on it. Till he hath made an oyster of me, he shall never make me such a fool. One woman is fair, yet I am well. Another is wise, yet I am well. Another virtuous, yet I am well. But till all graces be in one woman shall not come in my grace. Rich she shall be, that's certain. Wise, or I'll none. Virtuous, or I'll never cheapen her. Fair, or I'll never look on her. Mild, or come not near me. Noble, or not I for an angel. Of good discourse, an excellent musician, and her hair shall be of what color it please God. The prince and Monsieur Love, I will hide me in the arbor.
Come, shall we hear this music?
Yea, my good lord, how still the evening is, as hushed on purpose to grace harmony.
See you where Benedick hath hid himself?
Oh, very well, my lord. The music ended. Will fit the kid fox with a pennyworth.
Come, Steinberger, we'll hear that song again.
Summer is a-coming in, loudly sing cuckoo. The seed is growing, the meadow is blooming, the wood is coming to leaf now. Sing cuckoo. The ewe is bleating after her lamb, the cow is lowing after her calf, the bullock is prancing, the stag cavorting merrily. Sing cuckoo, sing cuckoo, you sing so well cuckoo, never stop cuckoo. Sing cuckoo, sing cuckoo, sing cuckoo, sing cuckoo.
By my troth, a good song.
And he had been a dog that should have howled thus, they would have hanged him. And I pray God his bad voice bode no mischief. I had his life had heard the night raven come, what plague could have come after it?
Yea, marry dost thou hear, Steinberger? I pray thee get us some excellent music for tomorrow night. We would have it at Lady Hero's chamber window. Come hither, Leonardo. What was it you told me of today, that your niece Beatrice was in love with Signor Benedick?
Oh, aye. Stalk on, the foul sits. I did never think that lady would have loved any man.
No, nor I neither, but most wonderful she should dote on Signor Benedick, whom she hath in all outward behavior seemed to abhor.
Is it possible? Sits the wind in that corner?
By my troth, my lord, I cannot tell you what to think of it. She loves him with an enraged affection. 'Tis past infinite of thought.
She doth but counterfeit.
Faith, like enough.
Oh God, counterfeit? Never was there ever a counterfeit of passion that came so near the life of passion as she discovers it.
Why, what effects of passion shows she?
Bait the hook well, this fish will bite.
Well, what effects, my lord, she will sit you heard my daughter tell you how.
She did indeed.
Oh, how I pray you, you amaze me. I would have thought her spirit would have been invincible against all assaults of affection.
I would have sworn it had, my lord, especially against Benedick.
I should think this a gull, but that the white-bearded fellow speaks it. Knavery cannot sure hide himself in such reverence.
He hath taken the infection. Hold it up.
Hath she made her affection known to Benedick?
No, and swears she never will. That is her torment.
'Tis true indeed, so your daughter says. Shall I, says she, who so often countered him with scorn, write to him that I love him?
This she says when she is in the beginning to write to him. She will be up 20 times a night, and she will sit there in her smock till she hath writ a sheet of paper. My daughter tells us all.
Now you talk of a sheet of paper. I remember a pretty jest your daughter told us of.
Oh, when she had writ it, when reading it out loud, she found Benedick and Beatrice between the sheet.
That.
Oh, she tore the letter into 1,000 halfpence, railed at herself that she would be so immodest to write to one who would flout her. I measure him, she says, by my own spirit, for I should flout him if he should write to me. Yea, though I love him, I should.
Then down upon her knees she falls, weeps, sobs, beats her heart, tears her hair, prays, curses. Oh, sweet Benedick, God give me patience.
She doth indeed, my daughter says so. The ecstasy hath much overborne her. My daughter is sometimes afeard she might do a desperate outrage to herself. 'Tis very true.
It were good that Benedick knew of it by some other, if she will not discover it.
To what end? He would make but a sport of it and torment the poor lady worse.
And he should. It were an alms to hang him. She's an excellent, sweet lady, and out of all suspicion, she is virtuous.
And she is exceeding wise.
In everything but in loving Benedick.
Oh, my lord, wisdom in blood combating in such a tender a body, we have 10 proofs that blood hath the victory. I am sorry for her, as just cause being her uncle and her guardian.
I would she had bestowed this dotage unto me. I would have daffed all other respects and made her half myself. I pray you tell Benedick of it and hear what he will say.
Were it good, you think?
Hero thinks surely she will die, for she says she will die if he love her not. And she will die ere she make her love known. And she will die if he woo her, rather than she will bate one breath of her accustomed crossness, hold one opinion of another's dotage, and no such matter. That's the scene that I would see, which will merely be a dumb show. Let us send her to call him in to dinner.
This can be no trick. The conference was sadly born. They have the truth of this from Hero. They seem to pity the lady. It seems her affections have their full bent. Love me? Why, it must be requited. I hear how I am censured. They say I will bear myself proudly if I perceive the love come from her. They say, too, that she would rather die than give any sign of affection. Did never think to marry. I must not seem proud. Happy are they that hear the detractions and can put them to mending. They say the lady is fair, it is a truth. I can bear them witness. And virtuous, 'tis so, I cannot reprove it. And wise, but for loving me. By my troth, it is no addition to her wit, nor no great argument of her folly, for I will be horribly in love with her. I may chance have some odd quirk and remnants of wit broken on me because I have railed so long against marriage, but doth not the appetite alter? A man loves the meat in his youth that he cannot endure in his age. Shall quips and sentences and these paper bullets of the brain awe a man from the career of his humor? No, the world must be peopled. When I said I would die a bachelor, I did not think I should live till I were married. Here comes Beatrice. By this day, she's a fair lady. I do spy some marks of love in her.
Against my will, I'm sent to bid you to come in to dinner.
Fair Beatrice, I thank thee for your pains.
I took no more pains for those thanks than you take pains to thank me. If it had been painful, I would not have come.
You take pleasure then in the message?
Yea, just so much as you may take upon a knife's point and choke a daw withal. You have no stomach, senor. Fare you well.
Against my will, I am sent to bid you come into dinner. There's a double meaning in that. I took no more pains for those thanks than you took pains to thank me. Well, that's as much as to say, any pains that I take for you is as easy as thanks. If I do not take pity on her, I am a villain. If I do not love her, I am a knave. I will go get her picture.